Hey, everybody. This is Colleen Sweets with the Shiftalkers podcast. Shall we, ladies? Shall we?
Let's shall.
Nice.
Now I'm ready.
All right. Shiftalkers
podcast.com.
I thought you were going to say
Tales from the Shift.
Either one works.
Line. Oh, sorry. I forgot my line.
Hey, thanks for tuning in this fine evening. Well, it's evening for us. By the time you listen to it, who knows what it'll be. Maybe it's 4 a.m. We don't know.
Right.
But thank you for listening to the Shift Talkers. We have got some shift to talk with you, so grab your shifty and join us. I'm here with Miss Aurelius and Miss Cricket, and our special guest today is Miss Dana.
All right.
Is it Sereno or Serrano?
Serio?
It's Serio.
Serio.
Okay, serio.
Very
She's very
serio out
serious.
here. It is the first 5 letters in serious.
Are you? Is
Don't let
that
that sway you.
what name is that? I'm just curious. Is it Italian?
It's Italian.
Or it is Italian. Okay.
So most likely also serio.
Serio.
Yes.
But you got to use your hand.
If you can't do
Yeah.
it without the hand gesture.
Colleen
Like
can definitely
Serio.
Yeah. When I get excited, I
speak Italian.
I get excited. I call it Speak New York. But cool. Dina is from Buffalo, New York, and I'm from Rochester. And so we decided, or I decided actually, but I think we're all in agreement that we're going to talk about restaurant scammers today. Those motherfuckers. You know, it always kind of boggles my mind because my mind just doesn't work that way. Like, I'm not an evil genius.
You're relentlessly honest.
I guess, relentlessly. And so, I got to give some people credit. Like, that was a pretty good, you got me. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about that today and just kind of tell our stories about people that scam the restaurants and get away with it. And not just customers. I'm talking about, people in the restaurant, employees too, because they come up with some pretty damn good scams too. Mm-hmm. Not good. I mean, they're good because you're like, how'd you think of that? For me, I'm like, how do you think of those things? My mind just doesn't work that way. So I call it a good scam because it worked. So Dana, since you're our guest, let's have you go first.
All right. So I think I have the perfect scammer story here for you. Mm-hmm. And I think I had mentioned that this whole COVID situation is yet another element that helped this bitch.
This bitch.
This
Really-
bitch.
Really put the nail in the coffin here.
Said,
All right, tell us about this bitch.
So, I mean, you're thinking about all the aspects of what we've had to endure as restaurant managers and workers and the changes and everything. And also you're a product of your environment, and New Mexico's been so strict, and, we've been told to go nowhere when our neighboring states are all oot and a boot everywhere.
Yeah.
They're just
Your kids have fun.
They're traveling through New Mexico and be
Yeah,
like, what's
so-
going on here?
And your employers are like, don't go anywhere, don't even go to the grocery store, but it's okay to come here and cart everyone from Texas and Colorado and Arizona.
Right.
It's okay that you're
Touch
here
all
with,
of their things.
with them, but you don't you go anywhere and harm this. Okay. So, in the spirit of that, it's like you see people coming in maybe from the airport, or you're looking at all these IDs and you're just fighting your own internal battles of these things. And so there's this, we'll set the scene a little bit here. We've got some fun patio drinkers. We've got some regulars that could very well purchase a bottle of whatever it is they were drinking at the store for much less, but they like to be
Out.
in a social situation and taking advantage of our patio. And this one gentleman drinks quite a bit to the point where he doesn't speak anymore, and we all speak his nonverbal cues at this point. We know he's going to pay. We don't need the words. We get there.
Like Frank's
It's not
fun.
necessary. We know that we didn't serve him the 100 drinks. We also know every bar that he goes to. Like, we know the circuit.
Yeah.
So, But he's a homie, you know, and you got to look out for him because he needs a little bit of help. He needs something on his side there.
Yeah.
So he's enjoying some patio drinks, and this woman who has come in with a carry-on suitcase behind her and a little mid-length skirt and the whole
so
very professional. Yeah,
professional.
she's a very professional traveler. Obviously, you know, so fine to travel right now. I'm business, everyone. Clearly. The outfit speaks for itself.
Better than you. I'm better than you. Remember this.
So she hit it just right because she had come in a little bit later in the afternoon, but it just so happened that there would have been a shift change happening for us. And this woman had been served a couple of drinks, and maybe more than a couple of drinks from the previous bartender. And then she kind of, you know, our regular friend here has now maybe said some things, or she has said some things, and they've started chitty-chatting. They're getting to the point where he can hardly speak anymore, and she's maybe just taking a little bit too much advantage here. So anyway, she keeps ordering her vodka tonics and another vodka tonic and another vodka tonic, and now the previous bartender is gone, and this gentleman's sitting here engaging in conversation, and she gets a little squirrely. She's in the bathroom for a minute, and she's definitely toasted, and she's all, oh, Jarvis, oh, you, like this, and like, you know, and I'm like, you don't, what is this woman doing? I see this woman just kind of beelining through an empty restaurant right now, and I'm like, where's she going?
Where you
she's
going?
Hey there, gal.
What's your hurry?
So she's like, I need to run to my hotel room. And, you know, I was here because I had to come here first because my hotel room wasn't ready yet. So I came here, and, you know, she starts this whole story, and I'm like, okay, lady.
The minute there's a story,
I'm like,
I'm like, no.
So I'm just like,
pay your bill, get the fuck out. Nope, done. Yeah.
Totally. I'm
No
like,
stories. This is not story time. This is my job.
this has already gone on too long is the thing, right? So she says, okay, I'm going to look at, I'm looking in my purse, and she's looking in her purse, and I'm like standing there, because I'm like, you're not going anywhere. And she's like,
okay.
I'll come right back. You can come with me. I'm like, I'm not going to your hotel. I'm like, all right, now I see where this is going, madam.
Pardon me.
Please.
I am a professional.
I am a... I was going to say lady, but professional. I mean, that makes it sound like for money. But okay. True. Anywho, I wasn't going pandemic, non-pandemic to this person's hotel room, and she's got this fucking suitcase, and I'm like, she's like, I don't have my credit card. It's in the hotel room. I'm like, you didn't check into the hotel room, you son of a bitch. Like, what's next?
Right.
So like, I'm already like,
it wasn't ready.
and she's like, she's acting like, I'm just like, I'm attacking her character, and I'm like, you're goddamn right, I'm attacking
That's
your
exactly
character.
what's
Like,
happening.
that's totally.
Yes.
This is an assault on your character, and it will not end.
And your mama's character? Who raised you?
Yes,
Who raised you?
I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, she digs through the purse, and she's like, can I go into the bathroom and dump it out on the counter? And I'm like, I don't give a shit what you do. Like,
Just
you're
pay.
not leaving,
Please
though.
just
Like,
pay.
that's what's happening. So she's like, I'll give you my phone number and whatever else. And then I hear her mumble out a Florida zip code, and I'm
God.
like, or area code. I'm like,
here we
okay,
go.
madam,
There we
again. So then she comes back out, and she's just like, I can't believe you're making me feel this way. And I'm like, all right, victim here also.
Oh, God.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, look in the suitcase. What's in the suitcase? And I'm getting like crazy on her now, because I'm like,
Yeah.
not today.
You went full Brad Pitt at
Yeah,
7.
it's just-
What's in the suitcase?
What's in the
suitcase?
Yeah, man, I let her have it. I was like, you better open. I'm like, I bet there's nothing in that suitcase. Is there? Is there?
Like 6 packs.
And then I'm just like, you know, so now I have this whole thing in my head, and I take her shitty Florida phone number down, and I'm like, get the fuck out. Like, she's like, I'll come back, and I'm like, no, you won't.
No,
just
yeah,
like,
just
let's, you know.
stop it.
Yeah.
And also, and if you do, I'm like taking her picture, and I'm like, and if you do,
Yeah. Everybody
we'll
will know.
Yeah, like, this is it. But I was like, that motherfucker, she tried to get the regular to pay her bill. Then when
course.
I was like, he's not paying your bill, you racked up
He's
like
too
$100
drunk.
in here, and he's hammered. And
Yeah.
then she's like, oh, no, the hotel. And I'm like, you probably live fucking around the block. You were just like, I'm going to put my tights on and grab my fucking empty.
My
You
sensible
know what I'm gonna
heels.
do?
Yeah.
I've been out on the town for a while. I'm gonna put
Yeah.
my heels and my tights on and drag my little bag behind me and see if I can hook, line, and sinker some drunk
That's
dude
so
on a
funny.
patio. And that bitch fucking won.
That
'Cause I,
bitch.
like,
Wow.
Bitch.
Oh, sorry, that went on a little bit longer. But
We
I cannot
had
believe-
one like that at the place where we all worked together. There was one like that. Her name was Galia. I remember. And she was a straight up prostitute. And she would come in and try to pick up, she would like, busy nights, Friday, Saturday night. And she would just, look for like the one guy sitting by himself. Like, and it's so funny because in Vegas, I've ruined a hooker's like pickup one time because there was a seat next to her, which clearly was not meant for me. But I'm like, I had just walked there in my like come fuck me heels, and just sat. But yeah, whatever. It's a free seat, and she just like looked me up and down, and then like took off, and I was like,
well, she was like, "This is my corner."
I know. I told her. I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, no, I don't pay. Yeah, they don't have to pay. Sorry." But
she's like, I work from Rio Bravo to.
Right. I'm not getting get my eyes like clawed out, but yeah, and even the bartender knew it. He was just like, "All right, we'll see you a little bit later, Charisse or whatever the fuck." But there was a chick who used to come in, and it was a very sort of brief period in time, but it's when I had just started bartending, and so I was the only like chick bartender at the time. I was 23, 24. I was young, pretty, and she did not like me. Like there's just nothing that I could have done. And she'd always come in, she'd always drink this one Chardonnay, and she would just wait for that one, because we had a lot of lonely hearts, like just retired guys. They just come sit there and hang out at the bar, we had a lot of widowers, it was the perfect bar for it, frankly. And she would just kind of wait, and she would just, saddle up to him and just start chatting him up. And, oh, well, my friend here is going to buy me a drink with the arm touches and everything. Oh,
yeah.
And, always with the very physical. And the side boob, she'd do the side boob, like, oh, my God, you're so funny.
And the guy is totally, and it's funny how oblivious guys can be, because I'm like,
I feel like it's selective.
Yeah.
There's a certain point of them that has to, because she was like, and not to, this really isn't me just being bitchy, and maybe it was just through my 2-year-old like lens. She wasn't hot, like she was like a nice looking lady, but she wasn't like some bombshell or anything. She had big ass fake titties though. And so maybe it was that,
that's a card to play.
Yeah, big ass.
Pretty much all it takes.
Yeah, so she had the big ass fake titties. Yeah. So the side boob, that was probably just happening. Yeah.
Hey, I don't care.
Yeah.
So she had a pair of queens. She was holding there.
Indeed.
Pair of queens.
Yeah, and it got so frustrating because she got to where she would complain about me all the time. She never wanted me to serve her. She's like, she's gonna spit in my Chardonnay. I'm like, the fuck are you? Like, why? Get the fuck out of here. Anyway. But you could tell she was the type that had always been treated like she was like super hot and super pretty, and so she just wanted to like keep that myth going. I don't know, it was weird. But there was one day where I got in trouble because she got up to go to the bathroom, and he was a doll, and I loved him, and I was like, hey man, like, are you sure you want to, and I alluded to the oldest profession, and, and he got very offended because he was totally taken in. Because, he was buying her food, he was buying her drinks, he was buying, like, whatever she wanted. And I feel like he was offended because he had been taken in, and I kind of called it out. Anyway, I got in trouble for that one, and they took my bar shifts away for a while. And then she applied at that place. She wanted to work, like, in the gift shop or something. Anyway, and I just remember being like, I know that I'm just, a peon in the whole grand scheme of this, but if you hire her, I will leave. Come on, man. Like, what she's up to. And then it took one of the owner's brothers to do this, like, sting operation where we were like, that's the chick that, almost cost Aurelis her job. And, like, she lost her bar shifts because of her, but here's the thing. She's going to try to, sidle up to you. And we told her the whole, like, this is exactly what she does every Friday, Saturday night. Because she would often show up for brunch the next morning. And we told him, and he was like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. And basically we got her to walk out on like 2 glasses of wine because she was like, my friend's going to take care of it and I have somewhere to be. And because she would go to the bar next door too. She was a busy girl. I admire the hustle.
She was working
frankly,
it.
I admire the hustle. In a town that small, in retrospect, at 40 now, I'm like, I admire your hustle.
As long as the hustle doesn't affect me.
Well, and don't be a bitch to your fucking bartender. Don't be a bitch to your bartender.
You need your bartender.
I'm like, do what you're gonna do. I truly could not have cared less, but it was the fact that she was shitty to me, just bitchy to me, and I'm like, fucking pour. I'm measuring your pour on your Chardonnay. You get exactly 5 ounces, and not like 8.
You know, there's so many different kinds of scams. You know, Cricket and I were talking about it the other day, and about how, you know, people will call the restaurant and say, oh, that manager, I forgot her name. You know, that one manager. And you start naming off names. Oh, was it? Oh, I shouldn't have said.
Was it so-and-so?
Was it? Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that was her name.
Yeah, that was her. That was her. She said blah, blah, blah. And
you start describing them, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Give them the key.
Short hair, perky voice. Sounds like she's judging you, but like in a really nice way. Yeah.
we're honest people, so we're just like, oh yeah, was it that person? And they said, yeah, you know, they said I can get a free meal. This happened last time. Blah 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 blah.
Sorry.
Yeah, or whatever. Like, a free dessert, and it's just not how we handle things. If a manager is going to give somebody something for free or leave them a gift card or something, they're going to write a note so all the managers will see it and know that, hey, this person.
Who doesn't give a gift card in the moment? Like, if that's the case, you get a gift card in the moment.
Right,
You don't
right.
get like hey, I owe you a gift card. Just ask
Well,
about
exactly.
it. Like, come on. Yeah.
Or, you know, if you call over the phone and
Yeah.
we say, okay, we'll leave a gift card for you in the office or whatever. Like, we communicate. I mean, we really try.
And
There's a
most
log.
times.
And I need proof too. Like, you say
Yeah.
so-and-so didn't put something in the bag, you know, like I will go back to the kitchen. I'm like, where's the missing item? Like, was there a country fried steak here that nobody knew, you know?
Where's the ranch, guys? Where's the fucking ranch?
Right.
And I only mention this because I was recently the ranch lady.
Yeah.
And Cricket had my back. She was like, no, I know she wouldn't lie. She was willing to send somebody. This is her customer service. I'm going to brag about Cricket for a minute. She was willing to send somebody who was about to get off work. She was like, hey, so-and-so can come and bring you the ranch. I'm so sorry. There's a bunch of noobs, like, you know, whatever. But she was willing to send and I was like, dude, like, it's fine. I've, like, got Dion's ranch in my fridge. It's totally cool. I'll slum it for a little bit. But, yeah, I was so impressed by that. I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. I just, like, I wanted some ranch.
And who gave you ranch the next day?
So much, too. So much.
So much ranch.
So much.
We overwhelmed her with ranch. So I kind of want to talk about, I always call them the Queso Family. And they, and I called them the Queso. I call them because they're still around, I think. I mean,
They never leave.
I work so little now. I don't know if they still get to go stuff, but this was a couple years ago when I first started managing, and you know, you kind of get a different mindset from serving to managing. Like, it's just like, you just want them to walk out happy. You do whatever it takes, right? So these people were doing this for a long time too. They were like mind fucking us. They would, you know, a lot of our New Mexican dishes come with beans or rice or beans or potatoes, right? Depends on if it's breakfast or lunch, doesn't matter. But they would switch it around and be like, oh, instead of rice, we want papas. Instead of beans, we want rice. You know, just kind of do this whole switcheroo on like every dish. They had like two adults, and then they had kids. They would always get like kid burritos and stuff like that. The reason I call them the Queso Family is because instead of red or green chili, they would smother everything in queso.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
Queso's expensive, even if it's
queso
only a food
is so
product
expensive. Yeah.
and not like real
so, which, you know, fine. That's just how they got their name. How they got popular was the scam that they did every time. That mind fuck where they were just like, oh, they'd come in and they'd be like, oh, this one was supposed to have papas and this one was supposed to have blah, blah, blah. And this one was, oh, that's okay. Just go get me a free side. Just go get me a side of papas and we're good. Just go get me a free side of rice. You know, they wouldn't say free, but I'm saying it because that's what they were fucking doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they would walk out with, you know, extra sides of potatoes, rice, beans, whatever.
Oh, yeah, because they take everything to go, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
they take everything to go.
I couldn't possibly eat
Well,
that
this was just too
now.
much since you messed it up.
Yes.
So I caught on to them because I was really the first time I realized
We
after
write
they walked
everything down.
out.
That's why you write everything
Yeah,
down.
I was just so confused, really. I mean, she totally came in and she's like, "Oh no, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, "What?" Like she really confused me. And after she left, and I thought about it, I got pissed. I got so mad because I'm like, this fucking bitch just mind fuck. Like, and I was just mad. I was mad, right? So I knew who she was. I knew the family. I'm like, the fucking Queso family.
Queso Family.
So the next time I caught on to them, right? And I told all the
That's spelled
cashiers.
the letter KSO.
Queso. I would tell all the cashiers, hey, that's the Queso family. I would see the ticket in the window and I'd be like, oh, spread it in queso.
Motherfucking
I'd
queso.
go to the cashiers and
I
be
fucking
like,
see you. I
they're
see
going
you.
to complain. So they always change all this stuff and like show them their food. They have to walk out of here accepting everything that we give them and make sure.
Before
if
you
they
put
say,
it down, you mean? Like,
yeah, if they say, oh no, this one was supposed to have potatoes, you take that whole dish back and you get it changed. Don't get them free shit.
Yeah.
So we started doing that. So they would complain about other things. They would make up different reasons to complain. Whatever it was. It was just stupid
Who
shit.
raises these people? Like,
They
I wonder, like, who raises these
Yeah.
people who grow up into these shitty ass adults?
Yes. What? Yeah. So, anyways, the last time I had it with these queso people, I'd had it, and they came in. They accepted their food. We showed them everything. Everything was fine. Da 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 da. They left, and I said, "Watch, 30 minutes. Gonna go by, and they're gonna complain about something." Right? Sure enough. And everybody was on to them at this point,
Really?
Yeah.
They
and
called.
Listen to what he said. Listen to what he said, you guys. He said both of him and his
poisoning,
wife
or-
got chimichangas, chicken, smothered in queso, of course.
Of course.
And he calls and says, my wife's chimichanga is like overstuffed with chicken. It's just like bursting with chicken, and mine hardly has any in it. That's what he said.
Y'all can't share.
You better cut that
Sorry,
shit in
I was
half and
gonna
do some
say.
crazies right there.
That's what I told him, Aurelis. I said,
Y'all
well,
can't
maybe
share.
your wife will give you some of her chicken.
Bravo.
And he was just like,
You're a
and I
problem
said,
solver.
if that's not satisfactory, you can come back and we will fix those. Bring those back to us.
Bring them back.
and we'll
Keyword,
fix
yeah.
them for you. And he's like, well, we're home now. Like, that seems silly. And I'm like,
Doesn't it?
doesn't
Doesn't it
does.
seem
It does
silly?
seem kind of
Seems
silly,
pretty
huh?
fucking amusing. Oh my god.
So, and all the cashiers, we were kind of slow. It was like later on in the evening. We were there wasn't a bunch of people in the restaurant. All the cashiers are like, they're watching me. They're listening to me. So
live for
totally
this
built
drama.
up my confidence because, as you guys know, I'm like the pushover. So they're all like, yeah, get him coffee. And I'm like, I am not
the
giving
queso
this
family.
guy free anything. It's
No.
not happening this time. And so, it kind of went on, da da da. And I said, finally, I just said, I'm not giving you anything for free.
Yes!
I'm not doing it. You have been ordering and getting stuff for free for a long time. We leave you gift cards. We've given you cream puffs. We've given you free potatoes and rice and beans for a long time. It seems like we can never get your order right. And I'm sorry, but I think you should find another restaurant to get your food at.
yes. Oh,
We can
so
we
proud
can
of
never
you.
ever get your order right. Like, I don't know what else to do for you. Sorry. And he says to me, well, you should work on your customer service. And he hung up on me.
oh, lovely.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't do the whole I know the owner, or I'm going to call and speak to the GM.
Well, no, he
and-
knew that he was a scammer.
Of
And he'd
course,
been
that's the
scamming us
thing.
for a very long time. And so
You called him out.
I
Oh my
did. And
You
God.
bullshit a bullshitter.
Moments like that are better
Yes.
than. Oh, that's good shit right there.
Yeah. But those are the kind of scammers, and you're just like, what exactly? Who fucking raised
you?
you,
Like,
dude? Like,
Always looking for an
restaurants.
edge or an angle or something.
We
Yeah.
pay for that food just like when you go to the grocery store. I mean, like, we're paying for that food, you guys. We're
Maybe
not
the
just
reason that you
fucking-
can't afford our normal prices is because of scammers like you, and we're constantly having to give food away, and it jacks up our fucking prices.
Right.
Maybe that's the problem, dickhead.
Right?
Pay the normal
Dickhead.
prices. God.
What other stories you guys got? That's my favorite one. Well, it's my favorite because I stood up for the restaurant. I was like,
You had a moment.
I did.
You had a moment.
Which is not usually me, So
It's not often me either, and I have definitely been taken a few times where, like, it's usually because we're busy, with actual customers, and then you get somebody who is full on intent, like on getting something for free and taking you for granted. And, I've definitely been taken a few times, but, I'm like, okay, the next time something like this happens, this is the plan, And so anyways, there's a guy who's kind of, he's a local in our little town, and he drinks too much. He's that
guy.
He's not, he's not a real upright citizen. He comes into our establishment because it used to be like a soda fountain or a pharmacy or maybe both. And there's a picture of his mother, black and white photo somewhere in the restaurant, and we've actually given him a copy of this so he'll stop coming in to look at the picture. But he still does it. And
way to make it weird, dude.
And he wants to engage people like sitting at their tables. He'll stop and that's that picture back in the hallway. That's my mother. And
so he just sort of meanders in.
So we decided a little while back that we weren't going to serve him alcohol. If he wanted to eat and he had money to pay, we would do that. And then we decided, we weren't going to do that either. But I still have trouble recognizing him. And then just recently they came in, like the last time they were there, I was like, I'm pretty sure they had a bottle with them because they were like, they were outside after they'd paid and left. They were outside, like really like cutting up, laughing really hard. He and his girlfriend. And like, I found like a wet paper bag on the sidewalk near it, and I was like, this smells like tequila. It smells like tequila. And anyways, I'm like, oh man, I think they had their own, they were just, order a Coke and like dumping tequila in it. Anyways, I was like, no more. I'm not going to let them in anymore, and the GM agreed, we weren't going to serve them anymore at all. Well, they came in wearing masks. And
COVID. Fucking COVID.
Didn't recognize them. And I was like, like there's no indoor dining. And I'm like, yeah, I can put a table outside for you, and one of the,
they're like, perfect. That's closer to the tequila.
I can just leave. Yeah, that's great.
And I was like, oh, after like the table was put out there and they were on their way out there, I was like, oh, that's them. I was like, whatever. I told the server that was going to take them, I'm like, look, they have shenanigans. Don't give in to any of their shit. No alcohol, get them to cash out as soon as they're done eating, and there shouldn't be a problem. Well, Megan, oops, sorry, bleep that out. The server.
Hi, Megan.
They paid with $100 bill, and the server promptly returned their change, and they sat out there for a while longer. And then she comes in, she's like, Christy, they're saying that I didn't give them their change, and I remember handing it directly to her. And I go out there, and I'm like, she said she gave you your change. I believe her. She's worked here for years. And they're like, no, she didn't. We're not good. I'm coming inside. We're coming inside. And it was like,
goody.
Dinner rush with takeout during COVID. So we've got like people huddled in all the corners of the lobby, waiting for their food,
upstanding citizens,
trying to stay away from, keep, social distancing. And we were busy. And he comes in, he's like, I'm coming inside. And I was just like,
here we go.
Yeah, because I was going to get their server, so I could be like, she said she gave it to you. I believe her.
And what?
And so he comes in. If you would like to call any witnesses, you're going to need to cross-examine them.
So they follow me into the lobby. Everybody's like waiting for their food. They're watching what's going down, and I was just, and they say it again, so everybody in the lobby can hear.
Yes.
And I was like, oh Well,
causing a scene.
I was like, well, I'll just call the police and let them figure it out. And I just marched back to the restaurant. And they...
glorious moment.
They totally just scurried off, and I was
course
on
they
the
did.
phone with I was on the phone with the police when they came, and they're like, they left, and I was like, well, I'm gonna still have them come by and like just chase them away
to be around. Yeah.
But that is my new go-to.
It wasn't the three-legged, or not three-legged.
I know I would have remembered.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know. I would have. Sorry, I was thinking date night.
Not the one-legged.
Not the one-legged dude.
Not the
though.
one-legged
okay.
dude.
Because
No.
the one-legged dude
Different.
would do shit like that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the one-legged dude. No, he's been gone. He's probably in jail.
No, he's passed away.
Oh.
That was,
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Well, he was...
Well,
yeah,
what with the meth and
he
the
was-
crack and the other,
The black tar
the
heroin.
You know, I remember
right.
one time he couldn't get in, and he asked somebody, and this is just I heard this somebody we worked with.
Oh, he was
Told
locked
me-
out of his house.
He was locked out of his house, but he could get in through the back. But there was a big wooden fence.
Yeah.
And let me give you some
Oh,
background.
the car?
He
Did he need to
asked-
climb the car?
No, he asked somebody that was going out to their car to leave, or they got there, or whatever. I don't know the whole details, but he asked for them to help him climb over the fence. Like he wanted to lift up
leg
over the
up.
fence.
With his one leg.
So, just some background, you guys.
I mean, I gotta say, but
Yeah, that's good. A leg up. He probably said it. Can you give me a leg up? So
give
just
me a
a little background on this guy. He had one leg. He was a drug addict, and he lived in this little tiny house behind the restaurant that we work at.
Right
so
next to the parking lot.
he would come,
employee
yeah,
parking
and
lot.
he did. He came in a lot, and he was not because he had one leg, but because he was fucking a crackhead.
Yeah,
Heroin,
I mean,
like he was, So, but that's how we identify him. Was like
It was
the guy with one leg.
easiest thing to,
Yeah.
between the one leg and the crack problem,
Yes.
I'm gonna go with the one.
a pretty unbalanced
You know
life.
who I
today. But yes.
That's funny. That's good. That's good, Dana.
Yeah.
What other scammers? So that actually reminded me of a story. This is kind of a scam, but it didn't happen to us in the restaurant, but it happened at the restaurant between two other people. So this guy came in claiming that he found somebody's keys in the parking lot across the street where some people park when they're in our establishment. And I said, okay, well, great. Thank you. And he's like, I know that they were in here because I saw them walk in here. And I'm like, so why didn't you, like, I'm thinking, so why didn't you grab
Hey,
them?
excuse
and
me.
Yeah. Are these your keys?
Sir.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So he brings the keys to us, and I said, oh, well, I was going to take them. Like, I assumed that's why he was bringing me the keys, because I'm like, oh, let me take them, and hopefully we'll find somebody, like, if they can't leave or whatever. So he's like, oh, no. I'm not giving you these keys. I'm hanging on to these keys. And I'm like, why?
So
like, I'm so oblivious. Yeah, why? No. Well, come to find out, this fucking crackhead wanted. He ended up leaving his name and phone number for the person.
He was holding it for ransom.
He was holding the keys for ransom because he wanted fucking money. Yes, he wanted money.
Oh, I'd meet him. I'd be like, yeah. No, I've got $50 cash right for you, honey.
Yeah.
No, please, meet me. Please meet me in person.
No, it actually
cannot
played
wait.
out, and and the lady ended up calling, and she wasn't stuck there. She had an extra, like, she met her husband there, something, I don't remember exactly what happened, but she had taken something out of her purse and her keys fell out on the floor, and this guy saw it all go down.
Wow.
So instead of being a stand-up guy and saying, oh, ma'am, you just dropped your keys, he waited for her to go into the restaurant and then grabbed her keys and then kept
piece
them
of
for
shit.
ransom so he can get his fucking drug money.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
I do wanna
yeah,
know how
and they
that played
ended up
out,
making a deal. And I told this lady, because she ended up calling and said, hey, I may have left my keys there. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Mm-hmm. And I told her what happened. And I was very honest and just told her the truth. Like, look, this is a guy that we don't let really come in here anymore. Like he's trying to scam you. And I don't really know what to do. She goes, you know what? If he wants freaking $20, I'm just going to give him $20. I want my keys back. You know, I don't care. Just give me my keys back. And I said, well, you know, at this point, I mean, there's nothing I can do, but maybe you should have somebody with you when you go pick up the keys, because this guy, you know, and it turned out, I can't remember all the details. It was a while ago, but it turned out something like he ended up, it was like, it started off as $20 and then he like wanted $40.
Of course.
She'd come into the restaurant and had a cup of coffee or something while she was waiting for him to get there. And then all of a sudden it was like turned into $40 and she kind of let us know. But anyways, I'm pretty sure she got her keys back. And
I think I remember telling you, like, just call the police.
That's my
dude,
thing. Yeah. Cops there, like, he has my property. He stole it from me. So,
Let's stop
Hand
aiding
over.
in this.
Exactly. Oh, I know. I'm so irritated by this story. Like, so bothered.
Yeah. What a fucking piece of shit, man.
I will always meet somebody.
You need to point him out to me.
You know what? He's like, you know, maybe mid-50s, rides his bike. I haven't seen him in a really long time. So
somebody probably jacked his Huffy, you know?
Probably.
He can't get around anymore.
Well, if I see it, I'm going to hold it for ransom.
Absolutely.
No shit. Oh, is this your bike?
Principle.
Just the chain. I'll leave the bike.
You dropped it.
I think it's from yours.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
It must not have been that important if you left it. Oh, yeah.
Scum.
Yeah. Scum. What about, Dana, what about as a manager? Because I know you've done it all. But what about some employees? Can you think of any stories that you've busted employees pulling a scam on the restaurant?
Or do you have any pointers for the rest of us?
It's like, I feel like there certainly are some in the past. I'm kind of...
There's the classic steak in the takeout thing. Like when they would just straight up steal filet mignon from the walk-in. I mean, that's
It's the voiding the cash check or something like that.
Right.
It's just in your... Is it weird that this person has 0 cash sales every time they work?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? That is weird.
Yeah, it's
Even
very
in
weird.
These times.
Curiouser and
You know,
curiouser.
things like that. This is like, okay, so this story just, I don't know, someone said something that this popped into my head, but this is more of the revenge scam between people that work. One was an employee of ours, and at the time, these pieces of shit were subleasing our kitchen, and they were just terrible, just awful people to work with. Like, just probably just, you know, just awful
humans.
people.
Truly garbage
just terrible
humans.
humans.
Yeah.
But this guy, he's one of the owners, and he's the head chef, Mr. Chef Man there, and just thinks much of himself, and just has like the most disgusting, like ugly, like pooping baby, like doll face. Like when he's like just bored or doing something, he's just like pooping baby face. And so
That's funny.
Perfectly descriptive.
Okay, so he was a real joy to work with. Anyone involved, and he would just like grossly stare and like mad dog. And to this particular employee, she was a sweet young girl, naive, and she was like, you know, she rocked like a real 80s hip look, and was just like real cutesy and like, you know, but like kind of weird, and like, you know, had a funny story of like on Halloween was dressed up as Kill Bill and went next door to the club and like split her ass down the middle on the dancey pole. Like, she was good fun, right?
Good fun.
We wanted to keep her around.
Right. Yes. A valued employee.
So this asshole that runs this kitchen is just, he tortures her. Like, he is so mean to her. He is totally like verbally harassing her, and just, he's just making it really hard for her to be there at any point in time. And it's like mentally wearing her down. And she's not me. Like, she's not going to take that the same way. I'm like, oh, I dare you. Right? I've worn myself mentally down far further than you ever could, you son of a bitch. But this poor young, you know, naive girl, like, she was hurt, and she wanted to lash out, and she just just did the dumbest shit ever, honestly. So we're working. It's her and I and this fucking asshole and his pooping baby face. Just as a reminder, because I hate him. But we spend all evening, and his wife is the other owner of their establishment, and she is fucking terrible too. And she was not there that evening, but she always has something to say about everything. And so this employee of ours, she works through another grueling night of needing to listen to this guy just jabber shit in her ear, and he is constantly just so cockily with his little ear pods or whatever. He's just, you know, how some people just really love to celebrate them, and they just, oh, no, I couldn't possibly have heard you. I'm listening to my ear pod.
Tap, tap.
Okay.
Sorry,
right.
what?
Okay.
Tap, tap.
Everyone.
Never mind. Yeah.
Okay. So, he at some point removes this precious single pod from his ear and leaves it adorn the cash drawer.
Yes. Oh, good moment.
And sweet Biff saw that thing shining like a little diamond in the rough and was like, I know you love this more than anything. And very clear as day in our camera shot above the register, Biff took that little diamond and put it in her pocket. And then that douchebag spent an amazing, 3 hours gruelingly searching for this little thing. It was the funniest fucking thing. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know who the fuck it is. I'm working here. I was just I had dismissed it because I hated him, and I was like, I hope you did lose your favorite thing, you fucking loser. So I'm like, and I was like, never. My sweet Disney princess would not ever lay a hand on your dirty, poisonous apple, you piece of shit. Never.
He would have found it in the ranch if it had been me, but...
I'm telling you. So this is where we split, because I was like, Biff, if you would have just maybe... slip me a little note, a little hint, a little something that I and my wisdom could say, so you still work here. This is what you do with that little guy.
Yeah.
Now, she did not. She panicked. She pocket panicked with that thing in there, and then we worked the rest of a shift, and we're breaking down until it's just the three of us back in that restaurant. And then the ogre wife appears, and now it's a 2-on-2, and I'm like, we can't take them. So we better figure out where that fucking thing is right now.
Yeah, everybody look, get down.
And she's very insistent, because now this sizable woman comes in angry, and this little girl is like, what do? I don't know what to do. She's just and she's insisting that she has not taken it. But I mean, I'm just like, this is gonna, because I'm just like, and they're like, she took it, and I'm like, I don't fucking know that. Also, no.
Why would I know
and
that?
I wouldn't assume that, and I wouldn't care to have that be the outcome, because I don't like either of you, and you know that. So why you are coming in here accusing me of... So I'm like, all right, whatever. But I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, she can't have it, right? Because all they're gonna do, it's an Apple product, and sure as shit, bing-a-ling-a-ling.
Oh, no. Fuck.
And she fucking books it to the bathroom and flushes that little...
Yes!
But fucking 20 minutes too late. Had she flushed it
right
at
away.
any other point in time, I feel like... I mean, the camera did show, but I'm just like... Dude.
There's ways to go.
Dude, the scandal revenge here, the fucking, you were trying to
so many lessons to be learned from this, boys and girls. Really so many lessons to be learned. Know where your fucking cameras are. Number one.
Know your
always know where your cameras are.
Know your cameras. Know that Apple products have a find
jingle,
a find me jingle that will.
I love that she
bust you.
No, here's the thing though. She doubled down.
That
thing went off in her pocket, and she didn't pull it out and hand it back. She was like, "No, fuck you," and ran to the toilet.
That's
good
my
for
girl.
you. Good for you.
Flushed it. I would have. Well, I would have just put it somewhere else. I would have snuck it out of my pocket.
I would have stuck it in the
shelf
ranch. I'm not gonna lie. I would have put it somewhere in his station.
I think the moment at the register with the camera on, you don't pocket that. You just shimmy it onto the ground and stomp on it
stomp it.
Yes. Oops, there was a Canadian running by. Oh, that's what we call cockroaches. Oh, it was just a quick Canadian.
You call cockroaches Canadians?
Well, not because we dislike Canadians, but in a realm of like someone's nearby. Yeah,
Right.
like,
You don't
it's
want to
like-
say cockroach
like,
when they're in
oh,
front of customers.
Yeah.
Oh man. But anyway, alas, poor Biff
She
had to be fired because it was
Oh, give me your number.
very clear. She cried.
right. She sounds great.
She cried.
Fired.
She cried so much. She brought her father in to apologize, and they bought a new set of earpods for that douchebag. And I was like, dude, you lost your job. Just let him lose a fucking earpod. I was like,
Right?
don't do the right thing. Do not do the right thing.
Do not do the right thing.
You know,
Take that back.
but this is the thing. I mean, it was a pretty harmless thing for her to do that gave her a satisfaction of like, fuck you know, and it's hard sometimes for
I
people
think
to
about
just
it.
stick up for yourself. Like Aurelis is gonna be like, she wouldn't have to steal anything because she'd be like, dude, fuck
I
you.
told him.
You know, she's gonna just tell him and it's gonna
Looked into the
stop.
windows
Like,
of his soul, and I told him to eat a dick. Is this not what 17-year-old first-time servers do?
have you guys ever been the scammer or the person that, like, in that situation where you just needed to do something to satisfy your own, like, revengeful mind?
I don't feel like I'm at liberty.
I know.
to
I
share
was just
secrets.
like,
No, I know.
These are things we do not say out loud.
We did use your real name. I know.
Phonetically true. Yeah, like this is way
We
too...
said it in multiple languages.
Right.
It's me on our
Like
website,
that.
and we'll see. I love Sourpuss brand clothing and purses and everything, but my purse, what
Hey,
I love about
Sourpuss, if you want to sponsor us.
But one of the
saying.
things that I love about them is that they're bowling purses, and I've got a couple of them, but they're like bowling bag purses, like retro style purses, but they fit a 6-pack, and you can fit a tube of Pringles. It's just my movie theater purse, basically. But you can fit a whole 6-pack, a tube of Pringles, like some, gummy bears, like you can fit so much shit in this purse, and it's still like this really cute little, it doesn't look like overstuffed because it's very structured. It's a bowling bag style purse.
I will say that it's crazy that, like, I mean, how offended the tequila in the parking lot and
yeah.
and how pissed am I, like, when I out back and see some minis under a table and I'm like,
Yeah.
but then I think
I do
about
the
my
same
life
thing. I do the same
and I think about even my age.
Amber
I'm
gave
like-
me so many minis one time. I looked like I had breast cancer because I had so many minis
You're
shoved in
on
my
your
bra.
Erica used to make me take the super hot ones that were on the under flap of her boobs.
Yeah.
Like once we got into the concert,
She warmed it up for you.
and I'd be like, "This watermelon Smirnoff is 96 degrees."
98.6. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. We've all done it, and that's
So you brought up a good point earlier too about your bowling ball purse and smuggling food and stuff into the movie theater. Now we're on this subject, and it just clicked to me that that's a scam.
Do you pay
That
for
is a
movie?
scam.
Do you pay for movie theater?
Well, nobody's gone to. I mean, no.
No. Okay.
No, I will pay for
Popcorn.
for a Slurpee.
Popcorn.
I always
Yeah,
buy
and
something.
I used to
Yes.
smuggle in. I used to smuggle in popcorn, like microwave popcorn. You just
Oh my
microwave it before you
God.
go and throw it in your purse. But
I've brought my own popcorn and asked for their butter.
you know what?
Don't be stingy.
No shame in my game.
That's right.
There was something about this popcorn that smelled like farts.
Oh god.
When I smuggled it in my bag, and I was with my aunt, and she was like, "Are you farting? Oh my god, what is that smell?" And she knew that I had the popcorn, that I was smuggling in popcorn, but it smelled literally like farts, and I'm like, "No, but I smell that too. Oh my god, it was an awful smell." It was the fucking popcorn. So. I think that's the last time I smuggled in popcorn. I'm like, we're just gonna buy popcorn because I don't want to
you gotta buy
smell
some.
like shit.
I do that, but the popcorn is just iconic.
In
I
the
will
movie
say
theater
in
popcorn,
the
yeah.
in the spirit of smelling like farts in movie theaters, I feel like I didn't try so hard to cover this up, but I brought I was drinking at Billy's Long Bar across the road, and I went to the Dollar Theater with a 20-piece chicken wing. And chicken wings totally smell like farts in a styrofoam container. Yes. So when you styrofoam open that baby in the movies,
And the Dollar Theater was the place that they were always like. I got to where I wouldn't actually sneak stuff into the Dollar Theater because they're making money only on
need the
concessions.
money on the
I was like, no, I have morals, albeit very gray.
You know, it's interesting because I'm like, my brain doesn't work that way. But you know what? I've smuggled in popcorn and I've smuggled in.
Hey man, we're all living on a budget. At the end of the day, it's like, can you afford a $10 Bud Light?
But why do I do this? Yes, we can, guys. We can.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a thrill. Yeah. Arelis and I are certainly thrill seekers, I can say. I mean, being economical at times in our lives, absolutely. But do I need to put a Miller Lite in my golf bag when I pay to go golfing? No, I don't fucking need to do that, but I do.
I'm fiscally responsible. I'm frugal.
See, I guess I don't think that that's actually scamming. I mean, it's illegal, yes.
I'll tell you
it's
what's
not
scamming.
really
scamming. This is where I channel my 65-year-old man.
I was just going to say, this is
the prices
dad.
They charge.
Oh, right.
For those cheap-ass Bud Lights that's the real scam.
Yeah.
I'm telling you better give it back to the man.
You know, there was this one lady who came in, and she would come in and she would try to find something to bitch about within that moment of her in that dining visit. And this is another one that I spotted out, and I'm like,
oh, I see you.
You know, you're complaining, and she would normally complain about the server and say something like, "Oh, she did this, she did that," and so you know, she called me over. She called the manager over and wants to speak to the manager. And the girl who was serving her was kind of new, but was very efficient, very good. Like, she wasn't, you know, like the friendliest server, but she was efficient. She got the food out. She did her job well, you know. She's a nurse now. But this woman was just like, started complaining about her. And she, blah, 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 like, it took a long time. Like, blah, 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 blah. And I had already known that she was a complainer. And, so as a manager, if you're going to comp somebody's food, you know, they want you to put like a little reason on there, like what was the problem? And I couldn't think of anything except that this bitch is a fuckface. And so,
well, my main complaint,
like she's just a fuckface.
That my food tasted bad because this woman sucks.
Yeah, and she's talking shit on all of the employees, right?
You come
and so
into
finally,
my house.
Finally, I cut her off. I'm like, oh, this is just okay. You know what? I'm gonna take off those nachos. Bye. And that's when I put the reason in the computer. I just put FF because
you're so.
I really wanted to put fuckface. This bitch is a fuckface. That's why I'm comping her food. But I couldn't put that because I'm sure I'd get talked to if I did. So I just put FF. And I thought, if they ask me about FF, I'm going to be like, friendly face.
Oh, God.
You know, that was going to be my excuse of, you know, what FF meant. She's a friendly face. I was comping because, you know, but no, it really meant fuckface.
Fuckface.
You know, there's all kinds of scams and stuff, and it just step it up, people.
Since we're drawing to a close, I will say, you know, we say this a lot in the restaurant biz that it should be mandatory that you work in a restaurant before you're allowed to come in and dine.
Yeah.
After listening to all y'all's stories, I think it should be mandatory that you work in a movie theater.
I know, you're right.
I worked at a Dollar Theater, and that's why I pay. I worked at a Dollar Theater, that's why I pay for concessions.
You know, it is interesting.
I'm not gonna stop bringing wine into movie theaters. That's what you were trying
they
to
start
get.
serving, step up. They need to step up their game.
Well, you know what?
That license.
I don't think that that's necessarily a scam.
We'll call it truce on the can.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes. It's a tryst. I mean, sneaking in the popcorn. I mean, that's a movie thing. You know, buy your
gotta
damn
get
popcorn.
your
You gotta
popcorn.
get your popcorn
Buy your
there.
popcorn at the theater.
But
Don't be a dick.
it was definitely enlightening for me to realize, like, man,
it smells like
I
farts.
have been this scammer. Yes, and popcorn smells like farts when you're sneaking it in. But it is in disguise. So, hey.
Maybe it was the guilt. Maybe
I was
that's
just
what
gonna say.
Honestly, it wasn't
Like-
farts. Maybe it was the guilt that smells like farts.
It might have been. Oh, what's my problem, man? I can't even sneak popcorn. Oh, man. What a good time, you guys. Has been so much fun.
Yeah, I want to hear the stories from this. I want to hear the comments from this. Like, I want the revenge stories. Give me your revenge.
Email us at shifttalkerspodcast@gmail.com. Aurelis also writes our awesome blog. The most recent one is How Not to Be a Creep. Definitely worth reading. And we want to hear your creepy stories as well as your scummy scammers stories. And don't be a dick.
and don't be
It's
a dick.
really that simple, folks.
Yep.
Dina, thanks so much for coming and sharing
Thank
your
you guys.
stories. What a blast.
Well, I'll look forward to the next time I get to
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. I'm sure you have much more stories and,
Oh, man.
you know, yeah,
Oh,
we've got tons and we know you do too. So go to shifttalkerspodcast.com and our blog is on there. You can comment there. Like I said, you can email us and hey, if you want to donate a dollar bill, y'all, we will accept that with pleasure. Give us a little shift talkers.
Shift talkers. Tales from the shift.
Bye, everybody. Love y'all.
Cheers.